Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Life, a channel for your personal growth, awakening, and financial wisdom. Have you ever wondered why sadness, anger, fear, or frustration hit you so hard, yet deep down, they never truly destroy you? Why is it that no matter how dark the emotion feels, it somehow plants a seed that later leads to strength, wisdom, or even growth? And here's a deeper question. What if every so-called negative emotion you try to escape is actually carrying a secret positive value, one that you just can't see yet? Why negative emotions exist in the first place? Let's pause and think about it. If emotions like sadness, anger, or anxiety were truly useless, why would evolution keep them alive in us for thousands of years? Nature is not stupid. Everything that survives over time serves a function. Fear warns us of danger. Without fear, our ancestors would have walked straight into predators' jaws. Anger signals injustice, giving us the energy to set boundaries. Without it, people would have lived in silent oppression. Sadness slows us down, forcing reflection. Without it, we would never learn from loss or failure. Frustration sparks creativity. If people never felt frustrated, inventions like the light bulb or the airplane would not exist. So, the first truth is simple. Negative emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. They point towards something unresolved, something needing attention, or something we deeply value. What is the blind spot of pain? But here's the catch. When we are inside the storm, we cannot see the value. Think of a person drowning in grief after losing someone they love. At that moment, to tell them sadness has value sounds cruel, almost insulting. And yet, time often reveals that grief shapes compassion, empathy, and resilience. There's a powerful saying from the Persian poet Rumi. The wound is the place where the light enters you. When you're hurting, your heart cracks open, and through those cracks, wisdom often slips in. The blind spot is temporary, but if we learn to trust it, we realize that the pain carries more meaning than we first believed. Let me tell you the stories that prove the hidden value. Few people know that Abraham Lincoln suffered from deep, lifelong depression. Friends worried he might even end his life. But it was precisely his melancholy that made him thoughtful, empathetic, and deeply connected to the suffering of others. That heavy sadness gave him the inner depth to lead America through its darkest hours, the Civil War. Without his depression, he might not have had the compassion to fight slavery with such determination. Negative emotion became his hidden teacher. Next, Thomas Edison tried more than 1,000 times to create the light bulb. Imagine the frustration. Yet he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Frustration sharpened his creativity. It wasn't failure that created the invention. It was the emotional fuel of frustration that forced his brain to search deeper. Do you know that Walt Disney was once told by an editor that he lacked imagination? That rejection stung him deeply. Instead of destroying him, the pain pushed him to create his own studio. His negative emotion of humiliation became the hidden spark that built an empire of dreams. Think of the movie Inside Out. The little girl, Riley, only starts to heal when sadness is allowed to take her place alongside joy. It shows beautifully that negative emotions are not mistakes in the system. They are essential parts of being human. Why we resist negative emotions. So if negative emotions are so valuable, why do we fight them so hard? Because society labels them as bad. We are told to smile, stay positive, hide the tears, suppress the anger, because they feel uncomfortable, and our brains are wired to escape pain quickly, because we compare ourselves. We see social media full of happy faces and think, why am I the only one drowning in darkness? This resistance is what turns pain into suffering. A negative emotion itself is just energy, a wave passing through. But when we resist it, when we judge ourselves for feeling it, we double the burden. As psychologist Carl Jung once said, what you resist persists, what you accept transforms. How to unlock the hidden value. Now comes the practical part. How do we actually discover the positive side hidden behind every negative emotion? Here are a few steps. Step 1. Pause instead of reacting. When anger arises, instead of exploding, ask, what boundary is being crossed here? When sadness comes, instead of drowning, ask, What am I losing that truly matters to me? This simple pause transforms raw emotion into insight. Step 2. Translate emotion into value. Every emotion is tied to something valuable. Anger represents fairness or respect. Fear represents safety or preparation. Sadness represents love or connection. Frustration represents progress or innovation. When you feel the emotion, look beneath it. What is this really protecting? That's the treasure. Step 3. Allow time for integration. Sometimes a positive value does not appear instantly. Grief, for example, may take months or years before its lessons emerge. Trust the process. Seeds don't sprout the same day they are planted. Step 4. Express, don't suppress. Journaling, talking with a trusted friend, or even creative outlets like painting or music let the emotion flow. Suppression keeps the energy trapped. Expression frees it and reveals its meaning. Step 5. Reframe through stories. Ask yourself, if I were to tell a story about this pain in 10 years, what would the moral be? This reframing pulls you out of victim mode and into author mode. You become the storyteller of your own suffering. This is not a new discovery. Ancient philosophies and modern science align here. Stoicism taught that obstacles are not barriers but pathways. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Buddhism views suffering as the gateway to awakening. Without dukkha, suffering, no one would seek enlightenment. Modern psychology talks about post-traumatic growth, the idea that people often come out of hardship stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Negative emotions are not mistakes. They are guides. Let me leave you with a simple story. A young man once complained to a wise teacher, "Why do I feel so much anger, sadness, and pain? I just want to get rid of them." The teacher handed him a clay pot filled with raw gold dust and dirt. "Clean this," the teacher said. The young man washed it and discovered pure, shining gold inside. The teacher smiled. "Your negative emotions are the dirt. They cover the gold, but they also protect it until you are ready. Without the dirt, you wouldn't recognize the treasure." The next time you feel sadness, anger, or fear, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What hidden gift is this emotion carrying for me?" Because behind every negative emotion is a positive value: patience, courage, empathy, wisdom, waiting to be seen. And maybe, just maybe, the very feeling you wish to escape today is the one shaping the stronger version of you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like and share the video. May you soon discover your true direction in life.